Tonight, I'm going to give you 5 reasons why you should set hobby goals. And as I said in the pre-ramble on this live stream, we all kind of think that we set ourselves goals, and then a lot of us feel that we never achieve them. And there's a few reasons why you probably don't achieve them. One is you've maybe not set a realistic goal, and the other one is maybe it was never really your goal in the first place. Maybe you thought it was a good idea, but in hindsight, you were never going to do it because you weren't that really enthused about it. So let me give you those 5 reasons, and then we'll wrap it up at the end. So the first one is goals help you stay motivated. So think how sort of hard people kind of furiously hobby and try to get that army painted when they're painting to a deadline. It might be you've got a competition coming up, like a painting competition. You might be going to a special event, back when events were a thing, or a tournament maybe. If you've got a goal, if you have something you need to achieve, that gives you motivation to go and achieve it. So having that goal as the defined end point, if you like, it gives you a reason to why you hobby it. It gives you a purpose as to why am I doing what I'm doing. I'm doing it for this because that's my goal and that's what I'm trying to achieve. The second one is goals give you focus. So without goals, we tend to just drift from one kind of half-finished project into the next half-finished project, and then we leave that one and we pick something else up. And the reason we do that is we're never really fully invested in that kind of project to start with. We just picked it up because we fancied it at the time. Now, there's nothing wrong with just painting random minis. You can pick up this one mini and paint that and finish it, and then put it down and pick up this other random mini and paint that and finish it. But then painting random minis is your goal. It's a goal in itself. If you're achieving it and it's what you want to do, then that's the goal. But just kind of dropping off between kind of half-finished projects here and there and never really achieving anything, it's because you've got a bit of a lack of focus, really. And that's where setting goals can really kind of focus in on what you want to achieve. The third one is goals help you achieve more things. If you set yourself up with a goal and then you achieve that goal, you get that like a real positive kind of rush of energy about achieving something, about setting out to do something and achieving it. And what does that do? That basically gives you another rush of motivation to go and achieve another goal, to go and achieve something else. So actually, without really kind of setting an end point, without setting something that you want to do, how do you know you finished it, basically? And that's why it's setting that goal can basically, it gives you a sense of achievement and it helps you to achieve more. The fourth one, and this one, I'm guilty of this one as well, goals can help you beat procrastination. So procrastination is something that we all suffer from. However, it's basically just wasting time, kind of dilly-dallying, putting things off. Like, I'm not really sure, I'll think about it tomorrow, I'll do it later kind of thing. Now, if you have a goal from the offset, if you know what you're trying to achieve when you start a project, then basically procrastination goes out of the window. You don't need that. And actually, it can help with a lot of anxiety as well. People who get anxiety or kind of mental paralysis when it comes to a project, you can kind of overthink things. And by setting that goal from the start, really thinking about what is it I am actually trying to achieve here, you take that time and it basically takes away a lot of that hobby stress because you know what the end point is. You've kind of made your plan, you know where you're going, and all of that procrastination and the kind of the stress and the anxiety of the project can all be just kind of pushed to one side. The fifth thing is that goals help determine what you really want. So setting hobby goals really forces you to think about what it is you want to do. Now, we all get distracted by all the new shiny things when they come out, and Games Workshop's released this and Mantic's released this, and we've got this new stuff, this new board game coming out, but the minis are really nice, and there's these new 3D printer files coming out that I really like the look of, that kind of stuff. And sometimes we need those welcome distractions just to keep things fresh, to mix things up, to give us a little bit of a boost sometimes. But how many times have we bought a box of minis, or we've bought a starter set or something, thinking, oh yeah, I really want that. And then you get it, and it sits on a shelf, and you don't do anything with it. And if you think, oh, that's not me, I don't do that, Think about how many unpainted minis you've got now. When you bought them, you really, really wanted them, and yet now they're just sitting there, not doing anything kind of thing. So setting a goal makes you think really hard about the project that you're considering starting. If you sit there and you think about it, and it doesn't really make you excited to want to complete it, then it's probably not the goal that you should set in the first place. Like, no matter how long it takes, if you sit down, you go, I really want to paint an army for this particular game, and then if you sit down, you think, oh well, I've got to do this, and I've got to do this, and and before you've even kind of picked out a colour scheme, you're already thinking, oh, I can't be bothered. Then it's not really the goal for you. It's not the goal that you should have set for yourself. If you get excited about a project and you're already picking out colour schemes and you're planning which models you want and you're thinking about basing and you're looking forward to maybe getting a game of it in the future, that's probably the right goal for you. And that's what it comes back to when I was saying about sort of if you're not achieving your goals, you've potentially set yourself an unachievable goal. Like, for example, I want to paint an army in a week. And then you think, well, I'm never going to do that, so I'll just not bother. So you haven't really set it as an achievable goal. Or maybe it just wasn't that exciting to start with. You just kind of got caught up in the moment to start with. Now, setting goals shouldn't be overly ambitious. We shouldn't be thinking like kind of, oh, I'm going to paint 500 models this year kind of thing. Try and narrow it down. Do it in smaller chunks. It shouldn't be stressful. It's your hobby. You shouldn't be kind of worrying about it. It shouldn't be a case of, you shouldn't be feeling negative about not achieving it. Like in my time, I've run large projects in the past and stuff in my old jobs, in my old world kind of thing. And we often use something which was called SMART goal setting. And SMART basically stands for, the S is for specific, the M is for measured, the A is for achievable, the R is for realistic, and the T is for time. And these are the things that we consider when we're setting goals. So if you set yourself a goal, don't set yourself up to fail like from the start. So it's your hobby, it's meant to be fun, but if you're not really quite specific about it, you're probably going to come unstuck quite early on. So if you don't know exactly what it is you're trying to achieve, if you don't know exactly what you want to do, how can you measure when you're at the end point? How do you know you've achieved it? If you can't if you can't set yourself up with something that's achievable, if you say I want to paint, like as I said before, I want to paint an army in a week, but I've got the kids at home because we're homeschooling at the minute, and I haven't got time, and the paints probably won't come till a week after. You're setting yourself up to fail before you've started. So think realistic when you're making goals, and don't set them so like far out into the future that actually you're probably going to kind of lose a little bit on the track on the way to them really. Now a goal can be, I'm going to finish this 10 model unit to a basic painting standard by the end of the month. It might be, I'm going to teach myself to play this game so that when I can get with my friends in 3 months' time, we can all play it together. It doesn't have to be really it doesn't have to be grand. It doesn't have to be, I'm going to paint 10 armies this year. I'm going to paint an army a month. It doesn't have to be sort of overwhelming. It's just a case of setting yourself a small goal and set the bar low. Set yourself something easy, because the feeling you get from achieving that goal is so motivating that it's far better than like setting yourself up to fail from the start. Like set yourself, see, I'm going to paint this hero model before I paint any more of my troops. I'm not going to paint any troops for my army until I've completely finished that hero model. Just setting yourself little goals like that. And setting a goal is really, it's just a long-term vision which creates short-term focus. So what you're doing is it forces you to have a plan. If you say, for example, I want to paint an army for Kings of War, well, you've been talking about that. I want to paint an army for Kings of War, and I'm going to do 250 points every month. So already you're starting to kind of have a plan. You're breaking it down, right? I'm going to do 250 points a month. It's going to take me 8 months to get to 2,000 points. And then you think, right, what am I going to do for the first month? So then you're filtering it down even further, and you keep breaking it down, and you break it down into more manageable chunks. You don't think about the scale of the whole sort of goal. You just break it down into small bits, because essentially, like, like, it's a bit kind of a bit geeky really, but a goal without a plan is just a dream. Like, I want to paint a Warhammer 40,000 army. All right, yeah, I'd love to do that. I'm not making any plans to do it. I'm not buying any models for it. I'm not setting out how I'm going to do it. But so it's just a dream. If you don't set a plan for that goal, it's going to just kind of drift away and do nothing with it. And essentially, really, like a goal. I think it was Tony Robbins, who's a bit of like a kind of like a motivational guru, basically said, setting a goal is the first step on making the invisible visible. And that's what we're trying to do. We've got these things that we would love to do. We set that goal and then we break it down into manageable bits. So don't beat yourself up about it. It's your hobby. It's meant to be fun. But just remember, setting a goal gives you some focus on what you're doing. In times like this where things are really tough at the minute, it's hard to kind of focus on things. It's hard to think long term. And actually having something in your hobby that feels quite stable and something motivational to kind of work towards can actually help you from a mental health point of view as well.
Thanks for watching my video. I hope that you really enjoyed it. And if you did, why not consider clicking on the suggested video below to see more of the work that I've done. If you'd like to support the long-term sustainability of this channel, why not consider checking out my Patreon, where you can pledge and support from as little as $2 a month. And there is lots of different tiers and bonuses, which will give you access to a private Discord server. It will give you free t-shirts, free mugs, a podcast every month, and a number of other things, including getting your name at the end of every video, like these awesome folks who already support me now.